What exactly is dopamine, and why is it regarded as the distraction hormone in the self-improvement community? The term dopamine detox suggests that we are taking a break from dopamine for a time, which is misleading. We can't get rid of dopamine. Dopamine is often labeled as the feel-good neurotransmitter, but its role is described as regulating motivation and reward. When dopamine levels increase, it signals to your body that an activity is enjoyable and worth repeating. But the problem is, dopamine is released when you scroll social media and also when you achieve a meaningful goal. 1. During social media, frequent release due to likes, new comments or messages. Every small thing feels rewarding. This explains the design of social media platforms. They exploit this mechanism. This short-term release very frequently can lead to habit formation. 2. When you achieve a meaningful goal, this involves a lot of effort, time, and work. So dopamine is only released when you finally achieve the goal and not frequently, which is more fulfilling. This can also lead to habit formation, but the process is slower as dopamine release is not frequent. 3. Here are actions that release frequent dopamine: browsing social media for hours, playing video games for extended periods, watching back-to-back episodes of TV shows, binge watching, eating large amounts of sugary or junk foods, shopping compulsively, especially online gambling, checking your phone for notifications obsessively, surfing the internet aimlessly, scrolling through news feeds, constantly setting goals but not taking action, which is also the reason many people focus on planning instead of doing. Here are actions that give you a more fulfilling response, but take effort and time: exercising regularly, achieving goals, engaging in hobbies, learning new skills, engaging in meaningful conversations, meditating, spending quality time with family and friends, reading, going on walks, or spending time in nature. The point of a dopamine detox is to not take a break from dopamine. That is not possible. The aim is to stop depending on dopamine for instant gratification. Instead, train our brain to replace these short-term habits with habits that help you achieve your long-term goals, so that you feel more fulfilled and repeat the cycle of putting in work to feel rewarded until you don't feel the urge to go back to harmful habits. What will happen if you complete a dopamine detox challenge successfully? More time to focus on your goals, fewer distractions, better decision-making. Without the constant bombardment of stimuli, you will feel mentally refreshed. Increased enjoyment of simple pleasures. As sensitivity to dopamine stimulation decreases, people often rediscover enjoyment in activities that they may have previously overlooked: reading, going on walks. The urge to set more goals and achieve them. Once you stop depending on social media for dopamine and your main source becomes achieving meaningful goals, this will soon turn into a healthy cycle. Reduce dependence on external validation. By breaking the cycle of seeking validation through social media, you might also develop a stronger sense of confidence, which doesn't involve seeking validation from external factors. How to do a dopamine detox. Step 1. Figure out all of the actions in your lifestyle that involve instant gratification in some way. For me, this included social media, scrolling Instagram, Reddit, YouTube Shorts, Quora, and sometimes even Medium aimlessly, the urge to eat unhealthy food in the middle of the day. Binge watching, listening to an unhealthy amount of music to a point where it became a distraction. Step 2. Find ways to block these distractions. In the beginning, you can't depend on willpower to turn off these distractions. Motivation might get you through the first 2 days, but on the third day, you will do everything to just get a glimpse of Instagram or watch just one episode. Here's what I did. Blocked all social media using Cold Turkey, the toughest website app blocker for macOS and Windows, and allowed myself to use Medium, Pinterest, and YouTube for only an hour every day. I even went a step further and deactivated some accounts, as the harder it is to reach these platforms, the easier it is to avoid them. Stopped buying unhealthy food for a month and asked a friend to help me stay accountable. Added Netflix to my list of websites on Cold Turkey. Deleted Spotify from everywhere and hid my headphones and earphones. I usually only have the urge to listen to music with headphones on. Step 3. Replace every habit with something meaningful. Whenever I felt the urge to scroll social media, I decided to read. It was hard for the first few days, but boredom led me to finally pick up my book. Whenever I felt like binge watching, I went outside for a walk without headphones. Whenever I felt like eating unhealthy food, I immediately opened a note which had easy recipes for healthy snacks that I could prepare instead. It sounds stupid, but the urge to make something for myself and enjoy it was greater than relying on a packet of chips. Music was the hardest to overcome. It was my means of taking break before it became a distraction, so I made a list of activities I could do instead to reset. Reading, painting, journaling, meditating, calling friends or family, going out with people. Path of least resistance rule. Atomic habits. Remember, make all these habits easy to do. Change your environment so that instant gratification is hard to access and healthy habits are easy. What I did, making accessing books easier. I picked a few books from my library, which was a floor below, and put some beside my bed and some on my desk, so I had easy access. Set my laptop to shut down at 10 p.m. to avoid screens at night. All chargers were in another room, downstairs, so I had to move all my devices there at night. I turned the color scheme on my phone to grayscale and had boring apps on my phone, which didn't even make me feel like using my phone apart from calling. My watch became my wake-up call every morning, so I did not look at my screen for at least 30 minutes after waking up. All these seem like very small, almost insignificant changes which might not help at all. But in the end, it's the triggers that matter. One trigger can lead you to scrolling social media all night or to finishing a book in 2 hours. The outcome, I only followed this schedule for 6 days, and it's crazy when you realize the amount of time social media can steal from your life. I finished 2 books in 6 days. I was able to go on a walk every day for around 15 minutes, when before I did not even have the time for it. The habit of scrolling vanished, and my sleep schedule drastically improved. I got around 8-9 hours of sleep every day. On the 7th day, listening to music didn't feel like a distraction anymore. I was able to enjoy myself without feeling like I was wasting my time. I finally got some work done on my personal projects after months. Boredom led me to reflect on April and plan for May, and I made some progress over some of the goals as well. This challenge made me realize how much I could get done in a week if social media and other easy distractions didn't exist.